What's up, dude? Spirit wants me to talk about the present moment again. So what does the present moment mean? I'm just going to chill while I'm doing it. The present moment. So we all have heard that before. And what the lesson on what Spirit wants, especially for like masculine energies, is to learn how to live in the present moment. And we're all like, yeah, like live for now in this moment. Yeah, I get it. Just like take it as it comes. I'm living in the present moment. Yeah, but what it really means is, and this is the best way to conceptualize it, is imagine a speedboat that is going down a river or a lake or whatever it is, but it's a huge waterway. And there's 3 places that you can stand in the speedboat. You can stand at the back of the boat and look down at the motor churning up all the water in the wake and just watch that bubbling churning up. And that's called living in the past. You're just watching the bubbling water. You can also go to the very front of the boat, and this is where a lot of the masculines have to work on. This is part of their soul lessons that they have to transcend, especially masculine energy, because it goes way back from primal time where they had to protect the tribe. So being at the front of the boat, where you're just craning your neck to see what's just right around the next bend. What is just watching, just constantly. That's called anxiety. That's called freaking out over nothing. That's called panic attacks. That's called, but that is a primal feeling that you no longer need to have. And that's not just masculine energy that has that. Feminine energy for sure has that too. So if you're standing at the back of the boat or at the front of the boat, you're not really seeing anything. And the boat is just whizzing by. Everything is whizzing by you, and it's never coming back. It's never coming back. And then this is the concept of memento mori. Remember death. Death is coming for us all. Yeah, did you hear about so-and-so? Yeah, they got whatever. I hope they don't die. Yeah, we all hope that person doesn't die, but we are all gonna die. And like, how much time do you got left? How much time do you got left? Let's see. Average age of American life. The average life expectancy in the United States was 78.4 years in 2023. However, the figure is broken down by sex, with females living longer, 81 years, than males, 75.8 years. On average, how much time you got left? Are you living on borrowed time? Memento mori. Remember death. And so memento mori was an art concept, which a lot of times you will see old paintings where it's a still life and some of the flowers are just kind of starting to wilt. A petal has fallen off, or there's fruit there, but it's just kind of starting to shrivel or rot a little bit. There might be a skull in the composition somehow, a skeleton. That is to remind people that death is coming, so and it's not to scare you, it's so you better live your life to the fullest. None of these are like do-over years. You don't get them back. And so that's where you'll find memento mori within art. So what Spirit is trying to get people to do is to go to the middle of the boat. In the middle of the boat is where you just stand there and watch everything that's going on all around you. And you're acknowledging it, and you're enjoying it. And you're experiencing it. You're allowing yourself to let the past go. You don't need to look at that bubbling, churning up. You know that the universe has your back. So you don't need to constantly crane your neck. You do need to be prepared and all of those kind of things. But you don't need to be so anxiety-ridden that you can't function. So Spirit's trying to get everybody to the middle of the boat because this is the ride. And it's time to enjoy it. So that's what living in the present moment means. And Spirit wants us all to think about how much time do we have left. In the United States, an average woman lives to 81 years. Average man, 75. How much time you got left? You living on borrowed time? You making the best of it? It's time to surrender. And so surrender means, for me in my spiritual work, it means where you acknowledge to Spirit, I acknowledge that this is really happening. I acknowledge that this is really happening to me. That I am loving and lovable. That I'm loving and lovable enough that I can have this magical experience that I've been lucky enough to be part of. And I understand not all people have this experience called the spiritual awakening. And people who haven't had it don't understand it. They can't comprehend it. It's a completely different reality. And after your awakening, you get through the toughest parts of the cleanse. You're going to be a completely different person. And you're going to be your authentic self and the most beautiful version of yourself, your healed self. So that's the message that Spirit wants. And so surrender. Me personally, I say it too. Before my awakening, I thought this was like tree hugger hippie shit. I was like, Journey, roll the eyes. Yeah, now look at me. But I feel healed. I had to face demons that I had stuffed down, that we all stuff down, trauma, and process through it. And I did with the grace of Spirit, who took over and had this happen to me. And now I am showing other people who this is happening to what's happening. Sometimes all you need is somebody to explain to you what's happening, and then it's not as terrifying and it's enjoyable. And smaller tribes and communities, especially in the past, when they identified somebody who was having an awakening, more people were awakened in the past than they are now. When they identified somebody who was going through an awakening, they teamed them up with somebody who's already been awakened to help them through this very, very difficult process, yet very magical as well. So you may start seeing number synchronicities where you look at the clock and all this, you're living your life, doing your thing, all of a sudden you feel called to look at the clock and it says 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? When I looked at the clock right now, it says 1, 2, 4, 3. Then you're like, oh, your old self would say, oh, that's interesting, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you go about, do your stuff, whatever. You close the microwave, you look at the microwave, now it says 1, 1, 1. You say, oh. Second time I looked at the clock today, some freaky shit happened. Right? That's kind of weird. Then you get in your car, you think, oh, I want to run to the gas station. You look to see what time it is quick, it's 2:22. And you're like, oh my fucking God, I'm going crazy. Yeah, this is where your guide has been set in. You're not going crazy. Those are number synchronicities There's lots of books and things, and this is totally normal of happening. So part of the surrender is saying, I admit that this is really happening, and I'm loving and lovable enough to have these little sprinkles of glitter throughout my day from Spirit. Don't obsess about trying to figure out what all the numbers mean. You will never figure it out. We are not ready as human beings yet to understand what that is. And that's part of living in the present moment. And when you start acknowledging that with Spirit, Spirit plays with you. And then you start getting that feeling back again. Like, maybe like when you were a teenager and you were out cruising for dudes or chicks or whatever, that excited feeling. You might cry more. You might feel sadness too. You might weep at really odd times. That's because your emotions were turned down due to whatever trauma you had. And Spirit is clearing out your chakra system. And so that's just, it sounds kind of hokey if you're not used to those kind of words. But think of those as little energy ports within you. And your plumbing's all clogged up. You're not flowing right. And so Spirit just took a giant pipe cleaner to you, and now you're sobbing and weeping and laughing and everything. It will level off. Now, if you can afford a therapist, there's nothing wrong with therapy, and you should try to find a therapist if you can, if you're going through a spiritual awakening. But you need to find a therapist who knows what a spiritual awakening is. And you have to remember, therapists are also magicians doing their magic, their practice. That's why they call it a practice. There are good ones and bad ones. If you can't afford a therapist, try to find support groups, support systems. I'm a spiritual guide. I try to do all of this for free. That's my calling. I know how difficult the awakening is. And mine started about 5 years ago. And I've gotten through to the other side. And I know there's a whole wave of people, especially divine masculine energy, who are going on their awakening right now. So usually the feminine goes first in kind of twin flame missions or those kind of things. And then the masculine goes after, and the feminine helps the masculine through it. You will be called to different guides, channels, things you feel you resonate with. Now you might be called to like just absolutely consume as much as you can information. You have to remember there's a lot of bullshit out there too. I think that's all I'm really getting from Spirit. I'm not listening to anything in my headphones. I just started channeling. All right, well, there's the message. Hope you're doing good. If you're going on an awakening, if all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, is this what it is? I'm going to put a really informative video. It's a great video. I'm going to put a couple of them. I hear triage nurse. Spirit might be sending people to me. You might just stumble upon me somehow, my channel, and I'm here to explain, almost like a kindergarten teacher for your inner child, to explain what is happening if you're going through the awakening. I'll put an informative video down in the comments section. I don't know this man. He just has a really great video. He's a galactic professor. His first name is Victor. And I think his video is called 11 Signs You've Had a Kundalini Awakening and Don't Know It. It's a really great informative video. Information is the key to freedom. And there's a lot of free information on YouTube, and Spirit likes my library skills where I can guide people. So I'll put that down in the comments section. And then there's another one. I'll find some other good ones too. And if this resonates, there's free information sent in by the librarian, working with spirit and the Akashic records. Yeah. I also put an informative video. There's a really great video. I'm going to do that first. About the Akashic records. About psychic abilities. About clairvoyance. And I'm going to put, what is clairvoyance? The truth. And so there'll be some informative videos if you're interested. If you don't feel comfortable clicking links, I get it. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm just doing an art project to help heal the collective as a Supreme Empress. And Spirit's helping everybody heal free of charge and at their leisure. There's a lot of people that can't do therapy or consistently see somebody all the time. They may be traveling a lot, working a lot, or whatever it is, a lot. So I understand sometimes I'm like a shit show, like you're sitting taking a shit. At your leisure, darlings. So I'll put those links down there. If you don't feel comfortable clicking them, I promise it goes straight to the video. But if you still don't feel comfortable, I do understand. I put the title so you can copy the title and paste it into the search of YouTube and that video will pop up. But I promise if you click on it, it'll just bring you to the video. All right, there's the message. Everything's about to get a whole lot better.